Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Allman.
I am Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how are you doing this week?
Yeah, pretty good. How about you? How was your spring break?
My spring break was very uneventful.
Working?
I worked more than I do in a normal week.
Oh, fun.
and I did a lot of schoolwork. Some of it was even more stressful than it is in a normal week. So I guess I didn't spring break very well.
Yeah.
But
If we had the same spring break, we would have spring breaked it up.
yeah, we played a bunch of video games and stayed up way too late.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay because next week is basically my spring break part 2, Jeff. I am going to California. I'm going to be a Cali bro. And I'm never coming back.
Okay.
Yep. Never coming back.
I'm going to join IGN and...
Yep. I mean, Jeff, if they offered me a job, I would not come back. I would be like, Jeff, you can come visit me, but I'm sorry. This is the way it is.
You show more videos and be like, hey, what about this guy?
Hey, can you send me my stuff? Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I'd put in a good word for you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Don't you worry about
I want to be able to write, but...
You could talk about Smash Bros. And into a camera awkwardly like I do.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want me, then you're about the same level of awkwardness as me. Yes. So I think if I can get in, you can get in. We have a lot of awesome things to talk about, but I definitely want to say at the top of this, me and Jeff are going to start a Smash Bros. Show. Podcast thing, whatever.
It's going to be random.
It's going to be a thing. It's kind of going to be whatever we feel like.
At the time.
Yeah, we're going to start out. We're going to have some smaller videos of just...
Plan to be smaller anyway.
Yeah, you know how this works with us. Anything we plan to do, it's twice as long as we plan. But we're just going to have short videos talking about what characters we want on it. But we're also going to use this to, whenever characters get announced or we have something we want to go deep into with Smash Bros., we can go there for it and off of this podcast so that we don't flood this podcast with all Smash.
Yeah, when a character's announced, we'll probably mention it here briefly, but complete thoughts, go to the...
Yeah, and it is probably going to be called the Super Smash Cast because somehow that wasn't really taken.
Yeah.
So that's at least the plan for it, and that's probably going to go up just on this YouTube channel. We might put some things onto this podcast feed, but for the most part, I would point towards the YouTube channel. So be excited about that. If you are excited for this new Smash coming up, as we definitely are, obviously, definitely look forward to that.
Indeed.
And I'm pretty excited. So, Jeff.
Darby.
I actually played some games this week because it was spring break. I played a little bit more of the Horizon DLC, whatever. I don't need to say too much. Other than the side quests are not very good. I have learned that much. But it's okay, whatever. The main quests make up for it. So, that is what it is.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, too much water. But the one game I do want to talk about is, surprisingly, I played a mobile game this week, Jeff.
Heathen.
I know.
You should have a PC dork.
I'm a horrible person. I played Florence, which this is a game. It's I think the developer is Mountain Studio or something like that. It's their first game, but it's published by Annapurna Interactive, which they're historically more known for film stuff, but they've gotten into they published What Remains of Edith Finch, and they've done...
Okay, we'll be talking about later.
Yes. They've done a few other kind of very story-based smaller games, and almost they're really good. They have a good track record so far getting into games, which is, it's very interesting to see a film studio go in that direction. But this is... It's just a $3 game. It's literally only 30 minutes. It's maybe a little bit longer if you take your time with it, but it's under an hour for sure. It's very, very quick game. And I don't want to talk too much about it because you could definitely spoil things. It's very
it's short.
Yeah, it's short and it's about the story. But it's a pretty powerful game in the fact that it's follows a girl named Florence, who's just kind of a normal girl living in kind of a city, I guess. And it's kind of about the struggles of being our age and graduating and just kind of not knowing what you're doing with your life.
So us now.
Sounds pretty close to home. And navigating relationships in that time or whatever. And I would say if you've ever been in any sort of relationship or been struggling with like adulthood or whatever, this is definitely a game that will probably speak to you in some too close to home ways. And one like kind of like What Remains of Edith Finch, even though it's a very different game because it's a simple mobile game, but it, similar to that game, it takes gameplay mechanics that you've maybe seen in other things and ties them in with the story in very, very unique ways, to where at first it just seems like this menial task you're doing, but then you slowly learn like what this actually means. You know, like there's a lot of those moments where the realization of what you're actually doing and what's going on hits you, and it's pretty smart. Like it's a really, really cool game in that respect. Like I know I'm being very vague, but you could easily spoil this game.
Yeah, again, 30-minute game.
yeah. So I don't just know that like there are some really, really cool gameplay mechanics in there. They're not hard or anything. This is all just about the story you're going through. I do think some people, like, I would say they don't go into this thinking that it's going to be this completely life-changing experience. I think some people have maybe overrated this game a little bit. That sounds worse than it is. It's a simple 30-minute game. This feels almost a little bit like a test of what the studio can do. Like, I would be interested to see what they do next, to see if it's taking the same idea and going into a more fleshed out thing. But for $3, this was great. I mean, it was like watching like a short film basically, but in a really cool interactive way. Cool. So if it was priced like much more or whatever, I would say maybe, you know, be hesitant. But for $3, like I think you should play this game. Cool, for sure. It's and the art style is really cool. It's like a simplistic art style, but like really bright colors, and it's really pretty. So and it just came out on Android. That's why I've been kind of wanting to play it for a little bit now, but it just recently came to Android. I don't know when it came to iPhone. It might have been out a while. I'm really not sure. But really cool game. I was kind of, you know, I just heard, with the low stakes of like $3 to get into it, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do this. I just played it in one sitting like before I went to bed, and it was really good. I think you'd like it. I think you'd definitely like it.
Just screenshotting it so I remember.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's about it. I really don't want to go too deep into the game because, I mean, maybe if you play it, we can talk about it. But
do a little very short spoiler cast.
Yeah, I don't even know if it would be its own thing, but we could at least talk about it on the podcast or something if you play it. So
cool.
Yeah. You play anything, Jeff?
I played all of that Pokemon game again.
Okay. It's okay if you don't want to talk about the Pokemon game, Jeff.
It's almost the same what I said last week. I just kind of, I didn't do much. And if you played Pokemon Red and stuff, you kind of know the general.
Then you played
what happened of it, and it takes away a lot of the story stuff. But still, just kind of a fun thing to kind of do. And I just kind of grind.
Have you fought other people yet?
I fought one guy.
Did you get beat?
Yeah, because I knew I was gonna get beat, but it scales levels. Yeah. So if you pick like level 100, it'll scale your Pokemon level 100. But it was still like at the time, like I had like a Charmeleon, he had a Charizard, to give you the idea. So the Pokemon were still better stat wise. So
right.
It wasn't even a contest.
I did beat someone online in Dragon Ball FighterZ this week.
Oh.
I also lost several times to other people very badly, and so maybe I'm getting there.
What team were you sticking with? I'm sure 18 and Black were in there.
18. I can't remember. 18 Black and
was it Vegeta?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to remember who you were using at the end of last time we played.
I don't remember. I wanted to. Oh no, I used Hit.
Okay.
I did Hit 18 and Goku Black.
Hito.
I started getting some hit combos, but I couldn't get them very well in the heat of battle. But in the practice mode, I got to where I started using the floor thing a lot more, and you could like trap them in the floor thing, and then do this other thing where you control them. And I was starting to maybe get somewhere with this. Basically, I mean, like me and Jeff have been playing fighters, and Jeff is like significantly better at it than me, and I can't seem to get the hand of it.
Here's the thing, though. It won't take that long for you and Alex to get to where I'm at. Not like I'm doing anything.
I know.
Not like I'm doing necessarily combos or any crazy things. But, yeah.
But you are pretty good at this game. So I would take pride in it, Jeff. Take pride.
Yeah, I think last time, I only lost once. Because you guys picked my worst characters.
It got to the point where we were picking Jeff's characters to try to win. and still most of the time lost.
Yeah.
It's bad. All right, Jeff, news jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Let's do it.
Okay, first story. Let's go from Joe Scrabbles from IGN. Square Enix has formally announced Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which will be released on September 14th for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, including PS4 Pro and Xbox One X versions.
Heck yeah.
The third in the rebooted Tomb Raider series will deliver Lara Croft's defining moment, according to a press release. Not much about the game, which is reportedly being developed by Eidos Montreal rather than the reboot creator Crystal Dynamics, is given away in the trailer, but there's a heavy theme of eclipses and darkness. Mm-hmm. A full reveal will arrive on April 27th. The Tomb Raider website is currently indicating that a puzzle will be coming for players to solve on Monday. The press release says that fans will be able to meet developers, play the game at 3 reveal events around the world. The puzzle is quite probably the entry mechanic to get an invite.
Cool, weird ARG or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool marketing thing. This is an awesome release date for this, yes. I think September is a very good time before, Call of Duty, Red Dead, whatever else is going to end up coming in that fall rush.
And we talked about that before. It gives you enough time to hopefully finish Octopath Traveler.
Yes, which is very good. I am very, very, very excited for this game. I think this Tomb Raider reboot has been one of the most underrated series of games. I mean, it's 2 games in recent memory. Mm-hmm. Like, for how good these games are, they do not get talked about enough, which really sucks.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where some people, obviously not all, people have the mentality is trying to rip off, I did air quotes, Uncharted, but it's not quite Uncharted.
Yeah, that's like, the thing is, like, Tomb Raider, it's definitely not trying to do something innovative genre-wise, but I feel like it kind of perfects that genre a lot more than even Uncharted. I mean, like, it's weird. Like, comparing those 2 games is so strange. I would put Tomb Raider above, like, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, like, above Uncharted 4.
Heresy.
Mostly because gameplay is important.
Yeah, I was about to say, just from my general things, because I played the first Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Haven't played any of the Uncharted games to completion. Haven't played Shadow of the Tomb Raider yet. Definitely motivation now. Because I know you got your copy, but it seems like more, Tomb Raider is better at the gameplay stuff generally, but Uncharted, for a lot of people, are better with the story and the big set pieces.
Undeniably, Uncharted story is so much better, but I think almost as better as the Uncharted story is Tomb Raider's gameplay is. And at the end of the day, it's just, what do you value more? And I think I value both a great deal, but overall, I think as far as just playing the game, Uncharted gets tedious at times. I love Uncharted. I absolutely love that series to death, but it gets old. Like, the gameplay gets old by the time you get to the end of it. And I don't think they're paced particularly well on the gameplay side. Like, cinematically, they're paced great, but I feel like the gameplay gets tedious. Rise of the Tomb Raider, it was never tedious. I wanted more, and then as soon as, like, it ended, and I was still on a high of it. Like, it just ramped up more and more. And, like, the way they introduced stealth so well, and, like, the bow, like, using the bow in Tomb Raider is, like, one of the most fun video game weapons I've ever used. Just the way that it feels and the way that everything, it's just really good. And even though the Uncharted story is better, I love this Lara. Like, I love what they've done with her story and making her more of a, real fleshed out character, not just she has big boobs and shoots dinosaurs, which is basically what she was before. Yeah. So I'm very excited. The only thing about this is, obviously, this is not being made, at least not solely by Crystal Dynamics. It's, Eidos Montreal. These are the Hitman. I mean, not the Deus Ex people. So it's, new developer that could always potentially be a something that
at least it's still Square Enix,
draws it down. But it's still Square Enix, and I'm sure they're handling it with care, and I'm sure that, they're taking what Crystal Dynamics did. I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. And I think the Deus Ex games are very good, so I'm not too worried about it.
I obviously Square Enix to take care of this because it's their biggest, if not, or one of the biggest, but not the biggest, like, Western IP.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I have trouble thinking of other American-made games that are bigger. Yeah.
Square Enix. Yeah.
Do you think you'll catch up at some point? I mean, like, if not by September, just some point soon.
I imagine so. Definitely, motivation, and not like Shadow of the Tomb Raider is not that long.
No, you mean Rise?
Yeah,
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah. It's not that long. It's probably your standard what these games are, probably like 10 hours maybe or something like that. Cool. And that's like I did a lot of side stuff. You don't have to do a lot of side stuff. So yeah, it's really, really good game. You can borrow it anytime. Please do. Yeah. Well, because other people need to play these games. Like these are so.
Well, if you're okay with it, just so I have it, maybe I can just take it with me.
Go for it. Absolutely, go for it. Go for it.
Just so I have it. If I just get the urge, like, screw it, let's just go.
So, I mean, at least from what I can see right now, this will probably be a day one buy for me as long as I'm not too busy with other things.
Insert another game or two in there. You got a good roadmap for 2018. You got God of War and Octopath Traveler.
Yep.
Obviously, arguably, the in between God of War and Octopath Traveler is a little long for you, but.
I mean, I need to get into the backlog more. Like I feel like I've been good. There's been a lot of games recently I've wanted to buy, but I've held back and I've just kept on Horizon. And I still have more Witcher I can play. I have Persona. I have so many games I can play.
And then on Tuesday during the Nindies thing, Hollow Knight's going to get announced for next week.
Yep. Probably. You're probably right.
I bet
it will get announced. I
bet Hollow Knight's in that.
Oh yeah, I bet. I'm wondering how close it'll be. Yeah, But I'm also probably about to buy Celeste because I'm about to be on the plane for 8 hours.
True.
So I'm probably going to play Celeste before the next podcast. Probably.
Yay! Yeah. Celeste is great. Yep. Okay, moving on.
For Mr. William Outlaw, this story.
Yep. If only he was here. This comes from Shabana Arif from IGN. A listing for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2018 has popped up over on Amazon's Canadian website, although the product is listed as currently available and has no information on the release date or platforms. That may be supposed to be currently unavailable, I imagine.
Yeah, probably.
A Redditor spotted that the product page, which hasn't been taken down at time of writing. There's no box art, and it's likely that the 2018 title is just a placeholder name. As with all placeholder listings, it's entirely possible that this is the speculative entry by Amazon itself, which may have no knowledge of the game.
So, Splinter Cell's probably coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all knew, or like there has been leaks before, right, with this game, or at least rumors.
Yeah, there was going to be. We know there are more Ubisoft games coming that are unannounced.
Yeah, they said
in this fiscal year
3 big games or something, and they wanted unannounced.
I think they specifically said not announced.
Right.
So.
It's cool. I'm sure Will is very, very, very happy.
Yep.
I think it's obviously a series I never really played any of, but everyone says it's very good. So
we all know I'm not a shooter guy at this point.
I don't know how big Splinter Cell is. I know the people who like it, but
see, my problem is I get all these Tom Clancy games mixed up.
That is true too. But I mean, Ghost Recon, Wildlands sold way more than anyone would have ever expected. So who knows? But
yeah. So we will see.
Could be another big Ubisoft thing.
Yep. The next story. Assuming we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Comes from Seth G. Mason from IGN.
Will is rolling over in his grave.
Yep.
He's dead for some reason, I guess.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Will.
Just kill Will off.
Yeah, just killed Will off in the cannon.
Yep. Yeah. 17 Missing IGN. Outer Wilds is a first-person sci-fi adventure developed by Mobius Digital and published by Annapurna Interactive. Yeah, this is a new game, by the way. It's described as an open-world mystery and takes place in a bizarre solar system trapped in an endless time loop. Time plays a major role, with locations and secrets appearing or disappearing in chronological lockstep. Quote from Annapurna Interactive: players can visit an underground city before it's swallowed by sand or explore the surface of a planet as it crumbles beneath their feet. And quote, Outer Wilds is set in a dynamic, fully realized solar system that rewards players' curiosity. Rather than procedural generation, the world's inexplorable locations are handcrafted. They made sure to put that in there, Darby.
Yeah, it's a very deliberate, we are not No Man's Sky, come back.
Yeah, I showed Darby the trailer before to make sure he watched it. He was like, oh no, then it said the handcrafted. He was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I didn't fully process it. I was thinking No Man's Sky, no. But it's nope, handcrafted. Nope, all of this is made by us. No procedural generation.
And additionally, Annapurna Interactive is publisher of Remains of Edith Finch.
Yes, and Florence. Yeah. I'm definitely, obviously, there's, it did strike me, not that it's going to end up like that, but this trailer definitely struck me in a similar way that No Man's Sky trailers did, where it was like, whoa, look at all these crazy things happening, but I don't really know what the game is completely. That's kind of what I get out of this a lot.
But there are differences. This is a teaser trailer, and we had that question for years of No Man's Sky stuff.
Oh, until the day it was released.
Yeah. If we see more of this stuff, it's the same question. That's we're in trouble.
That's why,
but for now,
they have my attention.
Yes.
Like the trailer, like the art style and everything looked cool. It looked so bizarre that I'm just like surrealist that I'm interested.
I'm trying to remember how did I describe it when you were saying stuff like BioShock mixed with.
It was Firewatch
mixed with BioShock mixed with Life is Strange because tornadoes.
Right.
Yes.
So if that game sounds interesting to you, then
just based off the art style,
and
character stuff, and
it's cool, and just Annapurna in general, like their games have been good so far. So I'm interested. I'm very interested in what comes next.
I just like it when I find articles. Well, they're on IGN, so it's not like they're hard to find. Articles of these smaller games.
Very underground stuff in IGN.
The deep depths, or etc. Finding these smaller games, bring them here. And it's like, hey, these sound interesting.
Yeah, I like talking about.
Yeah, when no one else really is talking about these things that much.
It's definitely some strength we can have.
I'm trying to remember. I keep forgetting the name, but XCOM, like mutant game, whatever, with the duck.
Yeah.
The name was a little generic.
Yeah, that's probably why we're gonna keep calling that game probably the Duck Fallout XCOM game.
Yeah, but I'll excited for that one.
Also, can you scoot up just a little bit?
Yeah,
thank you.
You know what else I'm excited for, Darby?
What else are you excited
Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Heck yeah, you are.
Sega has announced a new release window for Valkyria Chronicles 4 for the West. The release window is now fall 2018, though the date might have been leaked. Wario64 discovered that Amazon listed October 16th release date for Valkyria Chronicle 4 on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And I checked, October 16th is a Tuesday, which would be the normal day to come out.
That'd be cool.
So hype and...
So wait, when's this coming out in Japan?
Like this week. Or next week.
Okay.
And Switch comes out this summer for it there. So it's looking like we're getting all versions at once, which makes sense.
That's good. I'm guessing Switch is what you'll pick this up on.
Unless I hear like it just runs like crap on there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
So I guess we'll see this week Japanese reviews, at least like some impressions, but
yeah,
or at least soon we'll see.
I can imagine someone from Easy Allies just
probably.
I know one of them did
Are they pretty big fans?
Yeah, a couple of them are. Also, that release date might be a little worrying if that's right. Right in the middle of Call of Duty, Red Dead, at the same time. The fans aren't exactly the same.
Yeah, it's one of those. They might be different enough to where it doesn't matter. And some games are gonna come out around then. It's not gonna be completely.
But good news for me is I don't care about Red Dead or Call of Duty, so it's probably gonna be my October game.
Right. Do you think it's gonna be $60, or do you think?
I imagine.
Okay. I don't know what they normally priced at. I wouldn't see why not.
I think Valkyria Revolution was.
Okay.
But I think Sega's in the process of rebuilding goodwill, but this is a full JRPG.
I mean, it seems like it is. Yeah. It just, So, maybe a troubling release date, but at the same time,
it's a very niche thing, and the people who are into this are into it.
Right. I think this kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is definitely, I know Revolution people didn't like. This is kind of like a return to form for Valkyria, right?
It's more of it's like. 1, everyone loved. That's just the one everyone loved. And 2 and 3 were good, but went a little too far in the anime type things. For some, I think one of them, the characters were literally in high school.
Wait, was it still like World War I and 2 type setting?
I don't know. But they were on PSP, so I couldn't play them.
Okay.
And I think one of them at least were Japan only. Yeah, Valkyria Revolution. It was like some kind of action RPG and just not good. Yeah, this is returned to the general tone of it. It's actually the same war.
Saw some people. It might have been Easy Allies, but they were saying it was almost maybe too much of a return to form, where it looked like
I saw that too,
didn't even have that much different. Are you concerned about that at all, or?
It's been long enough.
You'd be fine.
As long as it's fun, and then he said there were some stuff that were different, but yeah, I'm not too worried about that. We'll see.
Yeah. I played the first few chapters of that first one, and I loved it so much. If I was in high school, I would have finished that game already by now. I just don't have enough time. But I have it on my PlayStation, so
yes,
I can get to it eventually.
And like I said, I plan on getting this one unless something else, like Kingdom Hearts, comes out within like a week or two of that. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see.
Or Dragon Quest. Okay, moving on. This comes from Joe Scott from IGN. DICE and EA have revealed the sweeping changes being made to Star Wars Battlefront 2's controversial progression system in a new update coming on Wednesday, March 21st. EA is hoping to put to rest pay-to-win concerns by making progression linear. Classes, heroes, and ships you use in multiplayer now individually earn experience points. Experience points help you level up, and each level awards a skill point which can be spent on gameplay-changing star cards. Star cards and other gameplay-changing unlocks will not be purchasable with either credits, currency earned for gameplay, or the returning crystals, paid currency. Star cards will also no longer be found in crates. Crates will now only contain credits or cosmetic items like emotes or victory poses. Crates can also not be purchased with any currency and will only be awarded as a delay login bonus for completing time challenges or completing milestones.
I was going to say daily login bonus.
Everything players have earned before this update will remain theirs and unchanged. After the update, the crystal currency will return, but with only one function: to buy new cosmetic-only skins for classes and heroes, which can also be purchased through credits. Quote from the statement, if you've ever dreamed of being part of the Resistance as a Rhodian, I'm just going to go with that, your chance is right around the corner. And these new changes will arrive or begin to arrive in April.
Okay. So
I have trouble following this, even though I've read it multiple times. I don't know why.
I mean, there's a lot of like weird jargon about
Star cards,
all this other stuff. On top of the like Star Wars jargon that you're also not familiar with. Yes. On top of having to read the whole thing on a podcast, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. It basically just, I think this is where it should have been before. So I'm interested to see like if there's going to be much reaction to this. This seems like,
I kind of wish I had more time to read general impressions of this.
Yeah, and I have a feeling I have a feeling just the story is kind of passed on Battlefront 2, where it's just lots of people are playing it, and lots of people bought it, obviously, but I think that as far as like internet fervor about it and stuff,
hey, like with IGN, well, we got to talk about this. Here you go.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, yes, cool that they corrected it, but I also don't want to pat them on the back too much for just doing what they should have done from the start. The fact that now all the microtransactions, all this stuff is going towards cosmetic things or whatever, and it's not actual in-game things. This is the way that microtransactions should be. Period. So it's good that it's back this way, and I think as long as it doesn't come out and there's still more problems like that, then I think this is kind of just come and go, which is fine. And this is not going to stop Battlefront 2 from being looked back on as... Sorry, Motorcycle Man. This is not going to change the story of Battlefront 2 when we look back. I don't think.
But you know what will change the story?
Well, what?
Solo DLC.
There you go.
Yeah, fix all your problems.
So just put Daenerys Targaryen in there. You already have Emilia Clarke, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. This next story comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. Twitch has announced free games with Prime, a new program akin to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold, which grants Twitch Prime subscribers a selection of free games each month they can download and keep forever. The program kicked off Thursday, March 15th, with a selection of 5 free games, including Superhot and Oxenfree.
2 amazing games.
Yeah. Additionally, all 8 titles from the Twitch Indie Amplifier program, including Shadow Tactics and Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation, will feature as free titles over the course of the next few months.
That's the name.
The full lineup for March includes Superhot, Oxenfree, Shadow Tactics, Tales from Candlekeep, and Mr. Shifty. Also a good game.
Very good game, yeah.
The next wave of free games where Prime will be available starting April 1st. It includes Tales from the Borderlands, SteamWorld Dig 2, Kingsway Tokyo 42, and Dub Wars.
I wonder, do you think that they're just trying to come out the gate with such good games to draw people in, and then it'll go back down, or do you think...
But here's the thing about this, though. Everyone already technically has this, even if they don't know it, because everyone has Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So people who don't know, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime.
And that's what I was asking Jeff before this, because I don't know much. I'm not on Twitch very much, so I didn't know if Twitch Prime was something different. But no, almost everyone has Amazon Prime. So this is basically just a bunch of free games that you're getting.
Darby, I I already have Super Hot free. I already have Ox free. I already have Mr. Shifty. So while those are great, those are me. But Steam World Dig 2.
Some people were saying like Steam World Dig 2 was like their favorite game. They came out last year, right? Yeah. Favorite game in 2017. No, that's amazing. Tales of the Borderlands, I think I already have from PlayStation Plus, but also amazing. And I don't have Mr. Shifty or Super. Like I haven't played normal Super Hot, so like I'd be very interested.
Same here.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see how that's different. I think there's a lot more.
I guess the downside is we have to play on PC with these. I'm guessing that's the caveat.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I mean, most of these games, your laptop would be able to run. I mean, like these are not very most of these, at least I don't think, are too extensive. But no, this is really, really cool. It's a really, really cool thing for them to do, especially since Amazon Prime is the same thing. Who doesn't have Amazon Prime at this point? I think it's awesome.
Also, just saying this, again, well, kind of you said, maybe they're just really good to draw people in, potentially. But, these are good 2 months in a row that beat most of Xbox Game with Gold and...
I mean, even if it stopped here, I'd just be like, oh, cool, thanks for the free games.
Even if they're just smaller, most of them being kind of indie games that just they're high quality ones, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, same thing with PlayStation Plus. I mean, the fact that we'll have 2 different services, 3 if you have Xbox, that are going to be giving you free games.
Yeah.
Cool with me.
So you might be hearing some stuff about these games in the future.
Another segment, it'll be PlayStation versus Xbox versus Twitch.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I'm okay with more of this, especially since I already have this one anyway.
Yeah.
Yep, so ready to move on, Darby?
I am, Jeff.
Okay, this comes from Shabana Arif from IGN. Activision is said to be keenly aware of the successful Battle Royale formula of games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fortnite. The Dow Jones Newswire reports that following a meeting between Activision Blizzard and its investment firm Oppenheimer, Activision is reportedly keenly aware of how other game publishers have recently benefited from releasing titles in the popular Battle Royale genre. Oppenheimer continued, quote, management reminded investors that the company is a fast follower, end quote. While not an exact announcement, the implication here is that we may see some kind of Battle Royale mode make its way into an Activision franchise or appear via a new game. Likely candidates would undoubtedly include the company's upcoming 2018 title, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, or Call of Duty Black Ops III.
Yes.
Most commonly known, which was announced last week with very few details beyond the announcements of Treyarch's return to the well-received Call of Duty sub-series.
I'd put my money on it that it'll have a Battle Royale.
That's just easy money for Call of Duty sales anyway, but if you put that kind of budget behind a Battle Royale game, people are going to swarm to it.
Yeah, I think the question will be more like, is this going to be a smaller tacked-on thing, or is this going to be something they're putting a lot of effort into,
I think it'd be popular just being more of a tacked-on thing.
Either way, I think it would be successful, and it would be a selling point just to be able to put that on the box or put it on trailers or whatever, and say we have.
Here's the thing. Yeah, this is the interesting thing about Battle Royale. PlayerUnknown Battleground. Just the complete shock yesterday was last year, the talk of the whole year. Now Fortnite's that way this year. Fortnite surpassed PUBG. From what it looks like in the U.S. at least.
Yeah.
I don't have hard numbers on all that stuff though, but I could still see someone coming up and blowing past that potential.
Yeah,
or taking away from it.
I kind of don't see Black Ops being something that's going to come in there and take over the Battle Royale genre. I just more see it as so many people are going to buy Call of Duty already, even without this, and this is just another thing that will keep them playing it and keep them coming, and it's just another selling point. Even if it's not even something that big, or even if they're not trying to dethrone Fortnite or dethrone PUBG, it'll just, I think we're going to start seeing more smaller doesn't feel like the right word for as big of a game as Black Ops, but we're going to just see more games shipping with that as a mode. It's we have this. So if you stop playing Fortnite, come play this or whatever, or your yearly Call of Duty visit, maybe your yearly Call of Duty time will be even more because you can go from the multiplayer, the traditional multiplayer, over to the Battle Royale and back and forth.
Battle Royale's gonna be the new zombies.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll also have zombies, but that kind of thing where it'll be another pillar of the game. Will be this.
I can't remember if we made this point when we whenever we did that Battle Royale, just main topic. But I imagine that like no battle royale mode is necessarily going to get to the levels of PUBG or Fortnite again.
Probably not,
because there are going to be so many of them.
Probably, yeah. I think it's gonna. They rose to the top because there wasn't competition.
Yeah,
I think there's gonna increasingly be more and more competition when it comes to these things. Now, how about battle royale with zombies? Yep, that'll probably happen.
State of Decay 2 DLC.
There you go.
Hey, it made me more excited.
Yeah. They'll start it.
Yeah.
And not sell very much, and then Black Ops will come and do some half-assed.
No, here's the thing about that. Just, we won't spend much longer. Game Pass. I can see people doing it for that if that's announced. At least for the first month.
It'd probably be smart to come up with some sort of Battle Royale mode and say, like, hey, all you Game Pass subscribers, come play this, And then next thing you know, the traditional State of Decay means nothing, and it's all the Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah, speaking of Game Pass, Sea of Thieves comes out Tuesday.
Oh, dang.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I didn't know I forgot it was that close.
Yep.
Jeez, I thought it was in April.
Nope, next week. I'm excited to hear more. It could influence whenever I get Game Pass.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. This is also from Shabana Arif from IGN. A Square Enix job listing for Final Fantasy VII Remake reveals that the company is hiring level planners for the game to meet fan expectations and increase quality. The ad, spotted and translated by Silicon Era, I butchered that.
Silicon Era.
Yeah, that one. Silicon Era. See, I think it was like Japanese magazine or something, so I try to pronounce it funny.
Silicon Era!
Yeah. Appears to be a part of a concerted effort to put together a larger core dev team to take the remasters or remakes quality up a notch. The translated statement reads, "We've come to the conclusion that in order to meet fan expectations, we must increase its quality another step higher. Therefore, in addition to the current members for the Final Fantasy VII Remake development, we must establish a core group that includes level planners, battle planners, designers, engineers, and various types of jobs tackling the production of the big title." End quote. According to Silicon Era, the listing makes it clear that it isn't a last-minute recruitment drive to deal with escalating workload. The new hire will be encouraged to contribute ideas towards the characters as well as brainstorm level designs for each location. I don't care what they say. This kind of thing doesn't make me feel good.
No, I mean, whatever, man. It's just
like, here's the thing. I'm just gonna throw out there, like, not all these stories come up that often. Like, this stuff might happen a lot more often than we think.
I think it does.
It probably does, but it probably is partly getting posted because this is Final Fantasy VII Remake story.
I do think that. I do think there is a little, people are reading into it probably a little more than they should because it's just a running joke of how, like, this game's not as far along as you would think for the fact that it was announced in 2015. And I do think part of that is true. I also think it's probably not quite as dire as people like to make it out to be. That being said, I mean, like, we're gonna look back and it's going to be really stupid that this game was announced when it was.
Oh, no. I've kind of been at the point where I look at that 2015 thing not as highly as other people already. Like, they call it the year of dreams. I'm like, okay, one of those games out and a lot of people loved it. Great. Yeah. Two of those games, we've barely seen anything since then.
Oh, and honestly, if it was just like, it was kind of a teaser trailer or whatever, and to be like, hey, we've heard you. We're actually going to do this Final Fantasy VII Remake or whatever. And just the fact that, didn't show much or whatever. It's just like, this is happening. Even if that came out that early or whatever, I don't think that would be that big of a deal. What bothers me is the gameplay footage that year.
Yeah.
It was that same year, right? That same year at PSX. That gameplay is nothing, right? Like, that gameplay is not... It might
look completely different by the time we actually see it.
Like, I almost guarantee you that game, like, that was not running normal gameplay. Like, they made that to show. Like, they made that to show at PSX. I don't think that that's indicative of the game at all, and I wouldn't expect it to be this far, this many, like, years, after or whatever. Yep. So that's the one that, like, bugs me the most, is that they, like, geared up to show that and then, like, radio silence, and maybe things go wrong or whatever, and still, like, I say all of this, when it comes out, I'm going to buy this day one. Honestly, this is probably one of those things that they come out and say 5.0, it's not that great, I'm still getting it. It's a remade Final Fantasy VII game. I'm at least gonna go look at the pretty, like, Midgar and everything.
I hear you. I'll do the same thing for Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly. I mean, like, this is I'm sorry. I'm gonna do it.
I feel you. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts.
So, and I've actually like kind of been having I feel like every 2 years I have the Final Fantasy VII itch. I've been like, I look back in those like remake trailers or whatever recently, and I've kind of wanted to like go dabble in 7 again. You know, it's never gonna leave me. So I will be excited for this whenever it comes, but now I can't do it.
Take that one for 7 and just take my SNES Classic and play 6.
That's what I should do. That's really what I should do.
One of us should. I want to. Okay. Can we move on, Darby?
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Okay. Let's go to something happier. A little happier. This comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. Blue Point Games' next project is a remake, but one even greater in scope than its Shadow of the Colossus remake for PS4. When asked by Digital Foundry if the studio's next project would be an original title, Blue Point president Marco Frush replied, "Well, we could, but we're doing another remake," end quote. While Frush remained tight-lipped on what the next remake might be, he did speak in broad terms about what's next for Blue Point, quote, "So now our next step is let's improve the art pipeline, let's improve the engine, let's improve workflow for artists. Let's grow on the art side some more to handle our next project because it's a bit bigger," end quote, he said. In regards to Blue Point's next game, Frush teased, "We're really excited about our next project, and we think you will be too when you find out what it is."
Word on the street is Metal Gear.
I've heard Demon Souls.
That too. Those are the 2 words on the street I've heard.
Here's the thing about... Wait. Okay, so make sure. You mean Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, or I just mean... I've heard, like, several different things, but... Like,
no. Yeah, I was making sure when you mean Metal Gear Solid, not the original.
Not the original, right.
Well, we would have gotten a remake for Solid at some point.
Yeah, I mean... But it's still just one of the... Or at least just I've heard, like, different things on just some old Metal Gear. But, I mean, also Demon Souls is probably more likely. I've also heard that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, the fact that they're saying bigger than Shadow of the Colossus is exciting no matter what. Yeah. Because, like, that's a pretty freaking colossal game. And it's cool. Like, I don't know. Where do you stand on it? I don't think we really talked about it. I've heard a lot of people, because of how good Blue Point's remakes are and how good Shadow of the Colossus are, a lot of people are like, why don't they make their own game? And like, well, I'm sure they would do a great job at it. I think it's kind of cool that they specialize in remaking games so well, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
my opinion is, if this is what they want to do, great.
Right.
And because I don't think it'd be a bad thing if we did have, studios who, this is what they want to do, and this is what they do.
I mean, like, in any business, like, you corner a market, you find out what you do good at. They're very freaking good at remaking games. Mm-hmm. And there's not too many other studios that do that so religiously that, like, they do. Like, Blue Point doesn't go out and make their own games. And if they want to go out and make their own game, do that. And I think they would be great at it. But I think it's also really cool that we just get something like Shadow of the Colossus brought to life in the way that they did. And I don't think too many other developers could do that the way they did.
Yeah, and what's... the cool thing about having someone like Blue Point doing it instead of like the regular developers for it, those developers can work on their new thing while someone else who's really good at it can handle the remake. Yeah,
I'm sure people leave Blue Point to go to other studios and everything, but I think it's cool that Blue Point is just, when you think amazing remasters, you already do, and you're probably even more in the future going to immediately think Blue Point. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just synonymous with it at this point.
I mean, yeah, they're the only one I can really think of on top of my head when I think.
You don't really know these very much. You don't really, like, keep these. I guess at one point I knew what's the Crash one? I don't know. They're kind of like that too, but yeah. I think it's cool. I'm excited to see what it is.
Yep.
Demon Souls would be cool for the people who really like Demon Souls. It's a little boring. I kind of want to be surprised, but we'll see.
We're not really into Metal Gear that much, not that we don't like it or anything. Right. So that wouldn't be as exciting for us.
No.
I wonder how exciting it would be for some people because, again, that the Twin Snakes already exists.
Yeah.
And some people didn't like some things that it changed.
And that's part of, I mean, like, maybe this could be different. They could take a different approach to it. And maybe it could be two. It could be, yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, just on this Metal Gear Solid thing, watching Team 4 Star's little playthrough, they're going for the whole series. So he's a good-looking game. So I'm going to say that.
It's one of
Kojima's a wizard.
I very well know that if I just sat down and played through the Metal Gear series, I would enjoy it. It's just I don't have time. I don't have to find
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's
like when I'm in a retirement home one day, maybe like that'll be one of the ones
I ain't getting me just watching the plays. I just throw it on when I'm kind of doing something else.
Yeah.
Whether it be playing another game or.
Blue Point brings back Battletoads. There we go. Confirmed. You heard it.
Microsoft exclusive.
Yep, you heard it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it is Metal Gear or Demons. I think Demons was actually Sony. I don't think I heard that. I wonder if it's gonna be Sony exclusive again. We'll find out. We also found out something else, Darby, from Joe Scott from IGN. Not really, but this is where I'm reading from. After a week of speculation, Bandai Namco and CD Projekt Red have confirmed that Geralt. I keep on thinking that in my head, but I'm usually wrong because I try.
Pass it over to me when you get to care more into, because you're gonna mess it up.
I know. Geralt from Rivia will appear as a guest character in Soul Calibur 6. Geralt will be voiced by original voice actor Doug Cockle and brings with him a
Kaer Morhen
stage to fight across. The soundtrack for this stage will be Hunted from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
This looks awesome. Yeah, that trailer was really cool. I mean, it's just as cheesy as you would expect from Soul Calibur, and I like it.
Yeah.
Geralt fits very well.
That's what I was thinking. Like from the last couple, I think it was Easy Allies last week, who kind of refreshed my memory on Soul Calibur guests. Mm-hmm. Like this is definitely the most interesting one in a while.
That's what it's really cool because like he fits in a like fighting style or whatever and doing all
with
that.
The whole weapons,
but at the same time, like he doesn't fit so well though it's boring. Like he's actually kind of like, oh, I wouldn't have expected. I probably could have if we were like sitting here and brainstorming who it would have been. I feel like
they said like if Bandai Namco was like, okay, we're announcing a guest character next week. Get hyped. Yeah. I feel like he might have been one of those. It might take us a while to get there once we do a little bit, but we're like, oh, that'd be cool, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
that's probably where our mindset would
just wouldn't have been where my mind would immediately go.
But he's not nearly as boring as whatever Assassin's Creed guy they got for 5.
Ezio.
Yeah, Ezio. I wasn't sure if it was Ezio or
not. Yeah,
it
was Ezio. I had the game.
And not as out there as Star Wars.
Yeah, Spawn.
Nah, that one's fine. But nothing will be as good as Link.
No, but this is really cool, and it's a way to keep Witcher alive with, Witcher 4 is not coming anytime soon.
Yeah. I've seen some people are like, what is this? This is dumb. It's no waste. Because, I don't know. Because this isn't the guest character they want.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've seen some people that are like, well, I gotta get Soul Calibur 6 now. I think it was Jared Petty was one, right?
Yeah.
I think he was. He's probably gonna get this anyway, but this confirms it. And Blood from Easy Allies. Okay. He's a huge Witcher guy.
Oh, I love this. I mean, this makes honestly, this sweetens the pot a lot more. Like I already like Soul Calibur. I'm not great at it, but I just played especially I played 5 a lot. Just because I was a kid and you just play a lot of games for a long time. And so, I would be interested in getting it. It's just financially and time-wise, I can't get that. And, I don't think we would play it enough.
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't play fighting games on my own very much or whatever.
Okay, here's also the thing, Darby. First where fighting game goes. This will probably come out around Smash Bros. Time.
That too. Yeah.
We got fighters as far as regular fighting games for the year.
But it's just for a game that I'm probably not going to get, or at least not get anytime soon, this excites me. This is really cool. And I definitely think probably a year and a half from now, when this is way down in price, I might pick it up just for
That's what I was thinking. Maybe we could potentially do that for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know how early they usually announce guest characters, but if this is early in the world, they might have another one.
Yeah, might.
Yeah.
At least. They usually just have one per game, right?
Yeah, I think it's normally unless they're console exclusive ones.
Yeah, there was that whole
and then they had Darth Vader and Yoda in different versions.
Right.
That's dumb.
And Star Killer or whatever they put in all of them when no one cares.
Yeah. It's probably the only one, but it's a good one.
It is very
Speaking of guest characters, Darby, kind of. This also comes from Joe Scout from IGN. Monster Hunter World will receive Devil May Cry themed armor and weapons in an upcoming event quest. Revealed in a trailer, the armor will work similarly to Horizon Zero Dawn crossover in that it transforms your hunter entirely into Dante, or a gender-swapped female Dante. No release date has been announced for the event, but it's likely that the quest required to get each item type will be split up over multiple weeks. And if you're interested, they have a little more details how the stuff works as far as emotes and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. This is Good for Capcom going into their library to add stuff to Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, this one just makes too much sense when it's Capcom. It's like you probably knew. I like that.
You saw the trailer, right?
I'm pulling it up now because I have not.
Good trailer.
Yeah.
Good trailer.
I like that they just keep. I hope they just keep adding like these weird crossover things in the form of costumes because it's so easy. It's easy to do.
Monster Hunter is doing so well, and these are the type of things where it's like that next one could be something that gains them more sales. Like that's the breaking point for someone.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
There's also what if they added Witcher DLC?
They might.
Yeah,
you never know.
I think the three popular ones, like before the Soul Calibur thing took over for when CD Projekt Red said it. I think the main ones were Monster Hunter, Smash, and Soul Calibur.
That would be more lame if it was just like a Witcher costume, but the Witcher character definitely is a lot cooler. It is cool. It actually does look like Dante a lot.
Yeah. I'm not a big Devil May Cry, don't have a lot of knowledge, but a lot of people said that looks, more akin to 1.
Yeah, it's like his costume from 1, his hairs. I think his hair changes from them. Yeah. Looks cool.
So that is dope.
I like that it actually changes them to look like Dante. It doesn't look like your character wearing a skin. It actually it's Dante.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Aloy. I like that a lot.
So Darby, in Monster Hunter World, you can have a little party going on with Ryu, Aloy, and Dante hunting monsters.
Why not? Why not, man?
I mean, we'd probably do that.
Why not? Just do it. Also, I think there's Monster Hunter DLC coming soon. I guess you didn't put that on there. Jeff. I'm pretty sure there was a Japanese event where they just talked about a monster and the hunt coming soon or whatever. I mean, not that it's that. There's a Monster Hunter DLC coming. If you play Monster Hunter, you probably know about all this.
Final news story, Darby, and very small. Just over a year after Nier Automata's release, Square Enix has announced that the title has now shipped over 2.5 million units, both at retail and accounting for digital sales.
Damn.
Yay, Nier.
Good.
I need to play it.
Honestly, I thought I think we had a news story when it was getting around 2 million. So
I think so too. Yeah. I think it took a little bit to get to another 500,000 or whatever it was to get to this point.
I'm sure it's slowing down in sales now, but that's still crazy.
I'm sure. We know this is more than they planned because this say platinum.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Which I need to play this game.
And just judging by the first Nier is such a cult thing, there was no reason to expect for this to be as big as it was.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more Nier.
I'm okay with this.
1,000%. Have you started it yet?
No, I haven't. I don't want to start a game like that until I get some of the bigger stuff out of the way. I at least want to. I won't say finish Persona 5, but
what are you working on right now?
As far as big games, I'm kind of chipping away at because since I'm at school, it's harder for me to play my PS4. I'm working on Xenoblade mainly.
Okay.
So, and I'm on chapter 8 out of 10.
Cool.
So that one I plan on finishing.
I'm just Mario and Horizon. Also, you were around 500 something moons, right?
Something like that.
And you had 35 hours of playtime I've seen on your thing. Yeah. I'm approaching 60, and I have 550. We play games very differently, you and I, Jeff.
Just gotta get good, Doug. Speaking of that, I'm just gonna say it to remind you. Have you seen Donkey's new thing about Luigi Balloon?
Yes. Okay. It's pretty great.
Have you, Alex?
Saw what?
Donkey's Luigi Balloon.
Oh, no, I have not.
Oh, you need to go watch it?
Go do it now.
I have to go somewhere. I'm sorry.
No, do it now.
I'm sure I'm not.
All right, Jeff. You got a game for me this week?
I do have a game.
Good.
Okay. I'm not sure how this will go. Because more how
really poorly because I'm an idiot.
Okay, Darby. The game is called, I guess, Real or Fake. So
all fake. All the way down.
Okay, so I have 7 game titles here.
Okay.
And you had to tell me, are they real or did I just make them up?
Oh, dear God. Are they all Japanese? What percentage of them are Japanese?
No. They're all from, series.
Okay.
So that should help you some.
Could still be Japanese series.
I mean, yeah, but...
Okay, all right.
Okay, I guess go from top. Number 1, Fire Emblem: The Binding Blade.
No, Fire Emblem has so many words on everything, forever, always. I mean, if it's fake, it could absolutely be real. That could absolutely be a Fire Emblem game.
See, that's my hope for these. Yeah, that I made fake.
Yeah. I'm gonna say fake.
Real.
Dang. When?
2002 Game Boy Advance. Okay.
That would have been a good pick.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's do number 2. Final Fantasy Dissidious Memoriam.
I don't know. Memoriam?
Yeah.
What does memorial even mean?
You remember.
Just
stuff.
remembering?
Yeah.
Fake?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that could have been some version.
Exactly. I tried to come up with the dumbest thing I could think of.
That was good. It's good. Okay.
I got to mark it. You got it right, Darby.
I like this. I'm going to do bad at it, but I just like this in theory.
I'll just bold the ones you right. Okay, next one. The Sims Beach Party.
Oh, no. That could have been a DLC. Would DLC count?
DLC would not count.
Then fake.
You're correct.
Okay. There absolutely could be a DLC called Beach Party, but I don't think there would be a full game called
I think there's like Sims like Beach and then like Sims Party. That much just spit out things. Okay, next one. We have Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland.
Sounds familiar, but that probably just sounds familiar because there's Dreamland in it. I'm going to say true or real.
You're correct.
Hey! I feel like I've heard that name before.
I was going to go fake originally with Kirby. This is... Oh, I think I got the...
You could have just thrown Sunshine and Dreamland in some order and it would...
I was trying to, but... I was going to do a bunch of random combination of stuff that appears like, at least in Kirby titles.
Yeah.
But I couldn't come one that's...
Yeah.
Like, I'll just go with this. It's weird. Thorns like, it's so easy to make a fake Kirby title. I think. Okay, there you go. One more and you win.
Hey, look at me.
Okay, next one. Resident Evil Retribution.
True. Real. It's not real?
It's a movie title.
No! I knew I'd heard that somewhere. You're right, though. You're right. I should have thought about it longer. Yeah.
That's what was my hope with that one.
That's cheap. That's cheap, but I respect it.
Okay, next one. Rock band Leonard Skinner.
No. Maybe, though. There was Rock Band Green Day. There was Rock Band Beatles. I'm going to say fake.
Correct.
Okay.
The two you named were the only rock band ones.
Were those the only like specific band ones?
I believe so.
Okay.
I researched like, rock bands like Guitar Hero would be a good one.
That's a good one. They're easy.
No. I feel like that would be a cheap one because you would have seen them everywhere.
They were probably there. There was probably somewhere in the works on a Leonard Skinner.
Oh, there was. That's why I picked this one.
Oh, really? Was there? Okay. Hey, yeah.
This and some other one. So there, you win.
Hey, look at me.
We got one more. Ready?
Suck it, Will.
SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab.
I played Battle for Bikini Bottom quite a bit. That was a pretty great game. Fake?
It's real.
It's real. Oh god, when did it come out?
2006. It was a cross-gen between Xbox 360 and Xbox and then PS2, PS3.
Creature from the Krusty Krab.
Yes. I had to go silly for one.
Yes. Whatever. I won.
You won.
Hey!
Yay. Like that one, Darby?
I did. I actually did like that a lot.
This is one of those like ones I can easily bring back at some point.
Yeah. You should do that with Will, too.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
See, a lot of these ones that come out where it's like, they'd probably be better if they were competition. Mm-hmm. I would definitely bring this back when we know Will's coming at some point.
Yes, yeah, that would be good. I like that. I'm impressed that you were able, I'm impressed with your fakes. I don't think I would be able to come up with a realistic fakes. The Retribution was great. That's very sneaky, but it's great.
I had someone else in there, like in the very beginning. I think I had Monster Hunter Spirits. That was a real like arcade game because I was just throwing random stuff on there, and then I would delete some later. It's like, this is what I got. It's like, nah, that's not. I don't think that's gonna be a good one because he has a new Monster Hunter. Well, it's like, Capcom Resident Evil. Type in Resident Evil. Movie titles.
That was a good idea. I definitely bit on that too fast. Should have thought on it more.
Like I knew, like he'll recognize it. But
yep. Fell right into your trap.
Yes.
All right, Jeff. Main topic this week. We are talking video game stories. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a very common thing that anyone in the video game industry they know. There's always like the talk about video games versus movies and books and TV shows and everything else when it comes to narrative. Mm-hmm. And there are people in different camps of thinking. I'm sure you've heard a lot. There's a common argument that video games, even the best video game stories, are really only equivalent to like okay movie stories or book stories or whatever, just because inherently the video game medium is difficult to tell stories in, and because it has to be interactive and everything else. That, you know, I've seen people even say like things like The Last of Us and everything we only feel like they're, you know, good in a video game light, whereas movies are, you know, far superior. I personally, I fall kind of somewhere in the middle. I definitely, for the most part, kind of do agree with that line of thinking. And it's not like really, I don't think it's necessarily that just video game makers are like bad at making stories. It's just that video games push against you. Like, whenever you're like, you know, you're watching a movie, you just watch the movie. But in a video game, to get from point A to point B in the narrative, you have to like actually go through it, and it's trying to kill you. It's going against you. You also, most games nowadays are just, there's a million branching paths. So when you're telling a story, it's a lot harder to tell a convincing story when,
you gotta think about, okay, if they do this, this happens and all that, and make it connect and flow well.
And you have to account for, like, you're setting up this crazy climactic, like, big stake things, and they run around and collect, like, spoons for hours or good.
And, well, this is kind of just an example what you just said about the branching paths, like, Until Dawn. You gotta do in the factors, like, okay, these characters can die here, here, and here. How will that affect the rest of the story, and how should we change that stuff? Yeah,
you have to make it so it makes sense no matter what, and that definitely probably hampers you a lot when it comes to that. And that's where I feel, you know, I feel that way a lot of times with that, but also part of what made me want to talk about this was playing Florence. Games like, I feel like some games kind of are pushing back against this theory, and like Florence is one of those. I think What Remains of Edith Finch is one of those. Gone Home is another. Firewatch. Like these narrative-based games, I feel like we're starting to get to the point with these type of games where some like video games are finding their strong suit when it comes to telling narratives.
But those don't count as games.
I mean, some would argue that, and maybe that's another point in the favor of the thing, is that these are not very video games, but they are still interactive, and I feel like, I mean, tell me if you think differently, but I feel like these type of games, I'm getting kind of, with all these examples, I'm getting just as deep of a story and just as quality of a story as a movie. It's just, but it's not a movie. Like, they're still different. Like, I get something different out of What Remains of Edith Finch that I don't think you could get out of a movie.
Oh yeah, with the What Remains of Edith Finch example, like you said, you get more out of the story because you're actually controlling them. Like,
right.
I don't go into the spoilers, but with the baby and the swing, you know, the example, like those wouldn't be the same thing if they were just projected onto a screen. Like you were just watching it. I mean, you could easily maybe transfer that to make it better, but
and like so much of What Remains of Edith Finch and Florence, as you'll see, is the mechanics of doing the game tie into the story. And it's like, that's, if you didn't have the fact that you were like, again, we're not spoiling things, but just things that you're doing in What Remains of Edith Finch, you realize the game mechanics, you know, you realize what they mean afterwards. And same thing happens with a lot of these games, and I feel like, I just feel like, at least from my perspective, that argument is getting a little less. I don't think that's always the case, you know. I think some of these games, it's just, I think generally like a lot of like AAA games, like especially open world stuff like this. Like Horizon was a really cool story for a game and everything, but at the same time, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that the world is in peril and Aloy is running around fetching things for people. You have to suspend your disbelief a lot there, whereas in a movie you don't, or a book you don't, and I do think that hurts it. So I think in the grand scheme of things, I think there is kind of a ceiling to how some of these games can get, or maybe we just haven't seen it done creatively enough. Maybe there's different solutions to it, but I think there are game makers out there, and we're starting to see it for the first time, that are finding out how to use the video game medium to tell a story, because that's what they're trying to do mostly. Horizon has a story, but it's also trying to be a gameplay first and everything. Whereas What Remains of Edith Finch is telling you a story, and that is the focus.
Mm-hmm. I would say that Last of Us does a good job of telling a story. Yes, I know if you just take the cliff notes of everything and just kind of take what's there and make it a movie, it's going to be a kind of generic zombie movie.
Right.
But I don't think that really matters that much, because what you get out of it, yes, you are actually playing the game, and that's why people usually connect with Joel and Ellie so much, because you are playing them. And, well, even there, if this was Last of Us become a movie, and just take the story, it's probably bad, but even then they would fill in the gaps, per se, during the gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it would... That's... And I think, sometimes video games, I think they're just different. It's not necessarily always worse. It's just... And this is why... Also, I think you throw the fact that video game movies have been bad, I think that doesn't even factor in this. Because sometimes I don't think these stories translate the way that people are wanting them to. Because when you lose that interactivity... I love when the interactivity is part of the narrative. And that's one strength that games definitely have over other mediums like that. And it's interesting. I think that I think we might get to a point where this is not so much an argument anymore. Because I think that game developers are getting better and better at this, and especially when it comes to indie people and these Annapurna games and all these others that are coming up and trying to do this. Gone Home. I don't know if I mentioned Gone Home.
You did.
I think I did. That's another one. That can never be a movie or even a show or anything other than a game. It's a game where you're finding all the story through things you find in the environment, and whatever, me playing the game and you playing the game, even though we're finding the same things, we can find them in different orders, and it changes everything. It changes how you get that story. That's something very particular to this medium, and I think it's cool. I like seeing those things.
Yeah, be different from the movies and books and stuff. That doesn't make it bad.
Yeah, that's
generally where. And I've had a thought, Darby. It's kind of something I want. I want Remains of Edith Finch in VR. Give it to me.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
I want those kind of games in VR.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would it maybe be even sadder if you feel like you're in those.
Yeah.
Because I almost cried just playing it normally, and I wasn't inside.
No, that's what I was thinking. I mentioned before, disappointed in the impatient. It wasn't because it was in VR. Okay, partly because of the weird arms. But anyway, as far as the story goes, VR wasn't the problem with that. I think, even more so, a good video game story could hit people, even if it's not the best story, can hit the player more if it is in VR, potentially.
It could, if it's done right.
Yeah, just again, What Remains of Edith Finch and all these ones we've been saying, want to translate to the movie very well. The reason it's so impactful is because we are playing it, we are interacting with the world.
Right.
Now I want it in VR, Darby.
Though, VR does need to get to the point where it doesn't jank out quite as much, because I don't want to be right in the middle of an emotional moment and then suddenly their face goes through my face, or I fly in some other direction.
Well, luckily that stuff didn't happen when I played Patient.
That's good.
Yeah. It was just the weird arms.
You sit there someone's crying and help me. You just sit here with your arms all in a bunch of different directions and stuff.
It wasn't that bad, luckily. But they were still annoying when trying to pick up things.
Yeah.
Trying to wipe away the tear and you're like...
It's like Gmod.
Yeah.
They're just go fly.
We're doing all this stuff, though. We don't even have video.
I know. The 1 week I don't do video. Hey, you got to eat a cockroach in VR, though. That's...
Yeah.
That's what you've always wanted.
Or at least what I thought was a cockroach.
Yeah. Spoil it. I don't know.
We spoiled the whole game.
Yeah, we did spoil the whole game. I know.
Well, I spoiled it anyway. I spoiled it for you. I'm not sorry.
I wanted you to. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thing? Do you have any other... What are your favorite video game stories? I didn't even what stories stuck with you the most? I mean, honestly, it's kind of the ones that I listed. They're kind of the top for me. I definitely think there are some, Naughty Dog is very good at this with Uncharted and The Last of Us, especially The Last of Us, of merging the two, But that's also part of, some people criticize Naughty Dog for being too much like a movie, because a lot of their games are, absurdly cinematic to the point where you're doing some gameplay things that are just very, not very exciting, but it's for the purpose of creating the scene, you know.
Yeah, I don't care if the games be different, whatever.
Yeah, I just love. Yeah, I think they're
not every game has to follow a certain guidelines.
Yeah. I don't like when people are like video game purists.
Yeah.
Where they basically like,
no.
Oh, it's not a game or whatever, because you like.
Well, all the games we've been talking about this whole time, people want to call games. That's a whole different discussion.
It's stupid. They're just different types of games. Like anything that you're interacting with like this is a game. It's just they're exploring.
That's why I hate using the term walking simulator way, but it's the best way to describe it just because of the negative connotation.
I loathe that term. Like I so wish that we could have gotten something else to catch on.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me that I can't just be the only one saying something and no one understands what I mean. But I hate that term so much. And I know it's gotten to the point. I mean, even people who make them use that term because just that's all we have, I guess. That's the only thing that caught on. But it's such a pejorative term. I don't like it.
I mean, Metroidvania caught on and Soulsborne and stuff have caught on. And when developers talk, they're like, yeah, we're pretty much just not copying a game, but those games.
That's just, I mean, like the Metroidvania genre has gone on so long and gone so, like, some of those games are not even really like Metroid anymore. Like, Metroid is so far a relic of the past of those, but these names just kind of like, you know.
But when you hear it, you know exactly what
you do. You know exactly what that means.
Some great games in there.
Oh, love that type of game. That's about all I had. Yeah. I mean, I think this is an interesting discussion, and I think we definitely started playing games at a big turning point. Like, you know, I think video games are really only in the grand scheme of things, I feel like in the last, 5 years, like, whenever Journey and The Walking Dead and those games came out, I feel like around then, and even Shadow of the Colossus, like, this is not like a firm thing, but I feel like as a grand whole, around then and onward is where we're starting to hit our stride when it comes to telling stories in games.
Yeah. It truly happened whenever Metal Gear Solid came out.
yeah, you're right. No,
I think what pretty much was when we were kids, that wasn't as much of a thing, but pretty much from then on, it started gradually becoming more and more.
Yes, I mean, like, there's always been games like that did it, but we're just getting to the point now where, like, you could play just those games and, like, you have enough to, like, if that's your most important quality in a game is being told an interesting story, there's so many out there that you can do that, especially in the indie scene and especially in those smaller ones, which is cool because story means a lot to me in games. I don't know, like, I literally just in this podcast said that I prefer Tomb Raider over Uncharted because gameplay is more important to me, which I think overall it is. But story means a whole lot to me. Yeah. That's why I need my games to have a compelling story for the most part. If it's not trying to do that, you know, Mario's not trying to tell a compelling story. It's different.
Who cares if Mario has a compelling story? If it happens to, great. But I'm not going to expect it.
No, honestly, if Mario had a compelling story, it would kind of be a bummer because, like, I like just picking up Mario and going. Mario is pure gameplay. Like, that's not what I want.
It could mess up the game. They tried to tell an actual story.
Yeah, I'd kind of just be like, get out of the way. I only have 20 minutes to play this.
Let me possess that worm.
Exactly. I'm back in the kingdom with the bird dudes again. I'm going back through all of them, so pretty happy to be possessing them.
Such a good game.
So good. All right, Jeff.
All right, Darby.
We did it early this time. We did good. How about us?
I don't know how long we're doing because I usually look at the...
We're only at hour 13 right now.
Cool.
We did very good. So, thank you so much for... I'm used to looking at a camera right now. Yeah, sorry, no camera. We're recording a lot of Smashcast stuff later, and I'm going to California. I just can't right now, but we should have it back next week. So check out the Super Smash Cast whenever that does go up in its various different forms. Check out the Black Panther spoiler cast. That's not enough people. Our other superhero spoiler cast sometimes get more viewers on the podcast.
Nothing will get as many views as our BoJack Horseman, though.
No, apparently not. Go watch that, I guess, if you want. Apparently it's really good. Or just happened to get shared by someone. I don't know.
Apparently the BoJack Horseman people are making a show for Amazon Prime.
No. Interesting.
So, an animated show.
Like, not BoJack related, just something else.
Just something else. Yeah. Because I'm sure Netflix owns BoJack.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. You tried to look at the camera again, Darby.
I know. It's such a habit. All right.
Bye.